Hey YouTube, I have a pretty exciting PSA returns because at the beginning of this I'm going to show you some higher end cards. Nothing crazy, but there are a few cards, or I think there's at least one card here worth over $1,000. And then after that I've got a bulk return. So there was 24 cards on this first part of the submission. 2 of them were for someone else. Customers, so 22 of the cards were mine, and then I'm going to get into the bulk submission, which is roughly 200 cards or so. So we're going to start off with a bang. So we got us this Japanese Gold Star Charizard, and it pulled the Gem Mint 10. So I was really happy with that grade. I thought, I think when I had pre-screened it, I was thinking it would be about a 9, maybe even an 8, but it pulled a 10. I thought maybe the centering would have been off a little too much. But then the next one, I didn't think they would be as harsh on this one, and they gave it a 5. So I mean, it was pretty extreme. I think this one was a little lenient, and then this one was pretty harsh. But either way, I'm happy with it. I mean, I'd rather have one 10 than an 8 and a 9. That's for sure, because I mean the 10 usually there's a premium on that. Next up we have Shining Raichu from the Japanese Neo Destiny set. Pulled the 9, really solid grade. I think these may have came from that guy that had met me at the post office. Can't remember his name now. Shining Magikarp pulled the 7. Shining Steelix with an 8. And I think most of what got counted off of this is the centering's off a little bit, and then they had a little bit of wear on the edges. This Celebi Gold Star pulled the 10, so that was a good one. Got a Shiny Charizard with the 9. Very happy with that grade. Then we got a Trico Gold Star, Gem Mint 10, another very solid grade. Entei Gold Star 9. I don't even want to cover up that Charizard. Meganium with the 9. I think they were pretty fair with most of this stuff, maybe even a little lenient on it. Like this Ho-Oh, I think I probably would have given it a 9, but it come back as a 10, so I was happy with that. I mean, there's many cards that I think they're a little strict on, but when they're a little bit more lenient on the older cards, I can understand that rather than with the newer cards. Shining Celebi Gem Mint 10, I thought that's a really good grade. Same thing with this Gyarados, got a Gem Mint 10 on it. Very happy with that. Shining Mewtwo got a 9. Shining Tyranitar got a 9. Another Shining Tyranitar with the 9. These are all Japanese. These were some higher end cards that I had. 2 Shining Charizards, both got the 9. I was really hoping I'd pull a 10 on one of them, but I think it didn't because the front side had a little whitening or whitening on it. Shining Kabutops with the 9, and then another 9 with the second Shining Kabutops. So it's several 9s in a row right there. And then got an 8 on this Shining Raichu. And then finally we're going to end with a 10 on the Reshizard. I should have at least 3 of those now. I'm trying to collect 3 of all the Charizards. We're going to start off with, not that box, that's not the right box. I think I've got a lot of English stuff on this one. I know I've done a lot of Japanese and newer stuff. We're going to start off with this Krabby, which has the slash error, and it's a Mint 9. Really hoping for the 10. 9 is definitely the grade that it should be on this. I don't think it should get a 10. It's got see that whitening down there in that corner. It's a little more obvious than I think should be allowed for a 10, so that is the correct grade on that one. It'd be going in my personal collection because I don't have a 9, I don't think, at the moment. This Sparkle Charizard got a 3. I mean, I think I paid $150 for it or $100 or something like that. Someone ended up offering me $500 for this card. It's like, I'd sell it for $650, and he was like, nah, it's too high for me. And it's reasonable. I mean, I only paid $150, and I just kind of did it out of a guess. I was like, I've never bought this card before. It looks to be pretty roughed up. I think he said he thought it was like a 5 or a 6 or maybe even a 7 grade, but 3, it's definitely like a 3. Mega Mewtwo got the 9. I really like that artwork. Let's put it in a box though. Maybe we'll do the counts on these. So there's 9. This Mega Mewtwo got the 10. Very good grade. Mega Blastoise with the 10. Kingdra GX with the 9. Then Altaria GX with the 9. We'll just do stacks for 8s, 9s, and 10s. I'm not going to do stacks for cards like this where it got a 1. And 1 is very justified. It's pretty roughed up. Might even have water damage, so I'm surprised they even graded the thing. But I've been grading every single base set Charizard now. It's just I feel like I can find a person for every single grade out there. People just want to have Charizard and they want to make sure it's real. So going through PSA is an easy way to do that. I did score a few level X PSA 10s in this order. Not too many of them, but did get a few of them. So anytime I get those, then I'm ecstatic, because Level X cards, they're pretty tough to get PSA 10. The print quality wasn't that great. Not many people kept them for collection purposes. A lot of cards were played with. Kids had them. I mean, there's all kinds of things going on with Level X's that kept them from getting a lot of 10s. But I sent a bunch of them in, and I was happy when a few of them come back as 10s. It's got the Star Raptor. Shaman Level X. I think 9s are pretty solid grades on these. Ooh, there's a 10 with the Machamp. 9 on Absol. I think I've got 2 Charizard G Level X's in Gem Mint 10 condition, but I think that's it, man. Check out that swirl right there beside his face. Next up, we got a Legend Gem Mint 10. Good with that. Got a 9 on the other half of him. And going into some more Legends, 9. Got a 9 on that one. Might have to push these stacks off somewhere. There's a 10. There's a 9. Another 9. The Legends have gotten really popular. I think they're pretty undervalued for Gem Mint 10 price. You can find most of these for about $100. And, you know, they're not the easiest cards to pull. The packs have gotten really expensive. And they're not the easiest cards to grade either. A lot of what I had was all packed fresh stuff that had just been set back from a while. Take these 9s and let's set them in the box. 9s are definitely kicking the 10s, but in fact, like this, I got a bunch of Gengar Primes that were graded in this submission. These all came from a guy who he just liked Gengar Prime. So he sent, you know, when I bought his collection, he just had a bunch of them and they were all packed fresh. And I was able to score a couple 10s out of it. So there's 2 10s, there's the 3rd. There's another one, there's the 4th one. Still got more, and he had some 8s too. They weren't all 9 and 10. I can imagine those people who like to regrade a lot of stuff, they'd have a field day going through my inventory, just checking out all the cards that have been sent in. Like, I've seen a ton of just like really perfectly mint, newer condition, like newer cards with the great condition thing going on. And, you know, I probably got several hundred of them that come back as 8s and 9s, most likely because they were like slightly off center, or, you know, there have been 5 PSA 10s before it. And I would think those kind of cards are what regraders try to regrade. But I don't regrade too much. I've got like 3 or 4 cards sitting at my desk that I know are really high value, but they're way undergraded, so I may do it eventually. It's been a while since I've cracked the case. I used to have a couple videos where I showed people how to crack the cases open, and then you could, you know, take your card out and resubmit it. I've done it a few times, and most of the time when I resubmit, I do get a higher grade. I remember there was a Blastoise PSA 8 that was pulled out of the pack, and it was sold to me. And man, I saw that thing, it was like minty mint, and I was like, you know what, this thing's got a 10 shot, and it come back an 8. And I was like, man, that's just a waste. I probably just got a strict grader, and I tried it again, it come back an 8 a second time. It's like, well, at least they're consistent. And I did it a 3rd time, and it still come back an 8. And at that point, I just gave up. I was like, yeah, we'll just sell it as an 8. Because at that point, I could have then sold the card and probably bought more stuff and made money off of that money and bought a 9 with it. Plus, each time you open up a card out of a case, you risk damaging it, and I mean, you don't want to do that. I mean, the whole point is you think it's been graded lower, but for me, I'm a little paranoid about trying to send in cards to PSA and say, hey, can you check this and make sure you did it, you know, your job right. I feel like that's there. I mean, most of the times when I have done that before with some stuff where they screwed up, and usually, unless it's really obvious, they're just like, I think we did a good job and it's within the, you know, variable parameters that we can have, you know, for human error. Check out this Gyarados. That's a good grade. I'm gonna stick that one on the back side. That's the secret rare red Gyarados, which you can get that in reverse holo too. I was hoping this Charizard would get a 10, but it pulled a 9. I'm not sure if I have one of those in my personal collection or not. Charmeleon, Regigigas. thanks so much to all of you who have been supporting me on Patreon. You've been hopefully getting a lot more content this go around with the PSA returns and the at least 2 or 3 other types of exclusive videos. Of course, I know most of you who are on there go for the Pokemon Business Sense level, which has access to all those videos, but you do it so you can email me with questions and talk about collection and investing and that kind of stuff. And I enjoy those conversations, so you guys keep sending me messages. Try to do exclusive offers here and there. At the time of this recording, I don't know how many of you took me up on the Elite Trainer or the Hidden Fates Elite Trainer offer. Or offered it out to you guys for $65 shipped. Got the Moltres. And lots of 8s and 9s. But that's about expected. I remember I was looking back through these cards, and I think what happened was I just had these sitting in my personal collection where I had just one of each, and then I was like, let's just grade them all. So it's good to know, an 8 is a pretty strong grade still. It's like near mint. It's good to know that most of what I had in my collection was 8 to 10 quality, with the majority being mint. Got Electrode Prime. I think I got my Prime collection something ridiculously low. It was like $27. I think it was $1 Prime or something like that. Another 10. 8s, 9s. And then a lot of this stuff will be going into my random PSA lots. If any of you have noticed that up on eBay, I started, I've just got so many PSA cards. Anything that's like 25 or less that I can tell right off the bat that I don't feel like selling, I've just been sticking in a box, and I started selling random PSA cards for $20 on eBay. So if you wanted to, buy 5 random cards, I'd make sure you didn't get any duplicates. This one is a 5. I looked at it, I think there was like a small indentation or something somewhere. Yeah. Right over there. So anytime you have like an indentation or a crease or something like that, it automatically drops it usually down to a 5. You might get lucky and have a 6, but most of the time 5 is where it drops to. Got Lotad. Heatran with the 7. Not even going to get into a pile. Dialga level X. Giratina. Wonder if we can get any 10s in this on this row of the box. There's a 7. So what was that? 2 9s and 1 7 on the Charizard G level X's. I think most of these 7s, and like this one 4, I think it was dropped. You see those indentions right there? That's from where it was in the 10. And it was the same thing with those 7s, I believe. What happened was these were promos, and they just had, like, from where they were used to be like pushed into those window 10 plastic pieces, and they used to have little notches, 2 at the top, 2 at the bottom. Those all basically made an impression on the surface of the card, so it's damaged now. Really, I'm probably lucky to have even gotten a 7 on those, even though the rest of the cards are usually halfway untouched. They were pulled straight out of 10, stuck in a binder somewhere. 9 and 9. So far, no 10s. There's another handful. See what we get. We got the Crobat with the 9. I'm going to scoot it over a little bit because that 9 stack is messing up the centering a little bit. 7 doesn't even get a stack. 9. 9. 8. 9. I would say the primes are still underrated. They're pretty tough to get in Gem Mint 10, but they're not like impossible because the cards aren't super scarce. By this time, Pokemon had started picking up on how much they were printing. 9s. The boxes from this era have gone up. I noticed a lot of the Heart Gold, Soul Silver boxes, even some of the Diamond and Pearl like before that, I mean, they're hitting $1,000. They're getting close to $1,000. And that's crazy because then you're starting to get close to Wizards of the Coast boxes like the Unlimited Jungle and Fossil, which those have seen a recent uptick closer to the 2,000 mark. Got Magnezone, Mew, another Yanmega Gem Mint 10, and then a 5 on the Feraligatr. Alright, last row. Let me go ahead and clean out what we have here. Those of you who still have not heard me say it, I'm surprised every time I mention this that I get people who come to me and say, hey man, I heard you still offer PSA grading services. Like if you want to take your Meganium and get it in case like this and have a serial number and certified, you know, condition and authenticity, I do offer my bulk services out to not only YouTube, but really anyone. You just send me an email. I have my email down there in the description of the video. It's #1PokemonCollector@gmail.com. I can get you rates. Basically, you send me your cards and I take care of everything else. You don't have to worry about any of the packaging, labeling, getting a PSA membership or anything like that. You just send me the cards, give them to me safely, and I take care of it. I'll send you an invoice for the whatever submission level we determine, you know, for your cards. And then if there are upcharges, I will, you know, invoice for you that later. But that'd be like, say you send in this Reshiram Charizard on the $99 level, and you know it gets a 10. It's, you know, it's obviously worth more than that. So PSA would charge me more. Use this like a $10 charge or so. And if you get over $1,500 or $1,700 or something like that, then it can get real expensive. But in the upcharge, usually that's a good thing. That means you got a really expensive card now. And other than that, that's something you wouldn't have to worry about. You just send me the cards. I'll send you an invoice for however many cards. So you send in 10 cards, and you know I'll send you an invoice for 10 PSA grading services. And then after that, we wait. The cards are at PSA. I'll take care of everything in regards to submitting the cards, making sure they get there, packaging, labeling, doing all that jazz. And then when they come back, I'm going to send you an invoice for the return shipping cost. We'll determine that after you get back. Usually it's $15 or less, unless you want, you know, super high insurance and super fast services or something like that. Most people just go with priority. And a priority medium flat rate box for $15 can hold lots and lots and lots of cards. I mean, you could probably fit 100 PSA cards in there. And then that's it. I mean, you get your cards back. A lot of people want me to video them, but I try not to video people's cards. If you keep an eye on these serial numbers and you see that some of the numbers are missing in between or at the beginning, it's usually where I had someone else's cards with my order, and then I took their cards out. And I mainly do that so that I can get these videos out to the patrons first, and then they can kind of tell me if they want to buy something. I don't want to sell a customer's card or get it mixed up or anything like that. I'm very meticulous with how that goes. But that was a pretty cool way to end it. I mean, we had, what, 3 serials certs in a row for the Zapdos Gem Mint 10. Had 66, 67, and 68. So that's pretty cool. But I hope you enjoyed the video. You guys let me know if you want to have some cards PSA graded. It's pretty simple. You can ask me any questions that you have. If you see something that you're interested in, it might be up on my eBay already, and if it's not, then send me an email. I may have it on back stock or ready to be sold. And that's it. So leave a comment down in the description below if you're still watching at this point. Let me know what you think your favorite card was from this video. Probably for me, I would say my favorite was the very first one, that Charizard Gold Star PSA 10, or the Krabby / Error, because I really dig the errors and misprint cards. Alright, thanks y'all.